Okay, you've heard me talk for the majority of a long fucking time, so now I'm going to give the floor over to Prometheus MFD, who is going to talk about Halo Reach, which was released last Tuesday. Go for it.
Alright, so basically, it's a prequel to the main Halo games. I don't know exactly how much earlier. I'm thinking it's like... It basically, from what I understand, it leads directly into Halo 1. So there's that. Generally, the story was pretty good. There was some stuff that I thought could have been done better, but I don't want to talk about that because it is very spoilerific.
He told me exactly the spoiler because I could care less about the franchise.
Yeah, it does a good job though, because during it you do develop theories on who's who and what's what. So basically, the story is the 6 of the last 7 Spartans or something on the planet Reach, when the Covenant attacks Reach after being, I think prior to that they were sort of driven off by the humans for a while, and then they're attacking Reach, and that starts the whole war. Basically, it's a convoluted. That's the word, freaking convoluted.
Is that the word you were trying to think of earlier?
Yes.
It all comes together, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a convoluted origin story, pretty much. For who? I'm not telling, because that's very, very spoilerific.
And no, it's not who you think.
Nope. Unfortunately.
Though it might have made, though you were telling me it might have made it a little bit better had it been who we thought it was.
Yeah. That would have tied it even more into the first game. But then they'd have to push back the date, the date that the events take place a little bit. But anyway, so gameplay wise, they took out a whole bunch of vehicles and weapons and stuff that weren't in the first one, because this is a prequel, so they have to keep that consistent. But they did add some alternate new semi-new ones, like you have the Needler, and then you have the Needle Rifle, which is a Needler, only it's a rifle.
Kind of makes sense.
So it's like the difference between an Uzi and a battle rifle. How much the gun dominates your screen and its position on the screen in first-person view has changed quite a bit, as has the designs of some of the guns. Legendary is still hard as hell.
Didn't you say you and 2 other people got through a middle mission in Legendary in about 45 minutes?
Later middle.
Late middle? Okay.
So, yeah, it took us 45 minutes. I died 20 times. The guy who killed the most stuff killed 25 times. And then third person died 15 times. But yeah, Legendary is a bitch. I played... the campaign, of course, is short, which is common for first-person shooters that focus on multiplayer. But that doesn't take away from the story. I think it might be some of the best. The Halo story isn't very popular with a lot of people who play it. My theory is that because a lot of people play it because it's a first-person shooter rather than the fact that they like sci-fi, so they don't like. So I thought Halo 2's story was the best in the game, and then Reach would be a close second. ODST, of course, has the worst story in the game, but that's irrelevant. Of course, that has never stopped us from talking about it before, has it? Music. Halo has continued the trend of using the same music that's been redone. And, it's good music. It's just that the series has a limited soundtrack. So, yeah, basically, multiplayer, which is probably what most of the people who bought the game are looking at, is quite fun. Firefight is just my absolute favorite mode to play with people now. Because when you get 4 people going through that, it's just so freaking epic. Online play is interesting because it plays quite a bit different from Halo 3. Even taking out the armor abilities, a bunch of the guns work differently. Like the battle rifle is a single shot, and higher power, less smaller magazine. It's headshots will result in instant death, which kind of has been overdone in the first-person shooter genre.
Okay, so better campaign, Reach or 3?
Reach.
And you say that for the more interesting gameplay.
Oh yeah, Reach is a definite improvement on gameplay.
Okay.
It's less broken, I want to say, than previous ones, even though Halo does have pretty good gameplay.
Better multiplayer, Reach or 3?
Reach. They improved everything.
You were talking to me about how fucking broken the energy sword in Halo 3 is.
Yeah, from what I understand, they reduced its reach for when you lunge at the people, so it's significantly less broken. It's still, a spiteful weapon. It's just less so.
So it's not as easy for someone to just go on a fucking sword spree.
Yeah, it's actually quite a bit more balanced.
So improvement for more fun there. Unfortunately,
yes.
You still have fucking team killers because they never die.
One thing I did like what they did was they improved the Forge, which for those of you who don't know is the level creation system. And it was introduced in Halo 3, but it was awkward, like everything. It makes sense that everything reacted with everything else. It was all driven by the physics engine.
Basically, it was like in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 when you were introduced to creating your own levels. It felt kind of weird.
For some stuff, you did have to rely on glitches to do, like floating platforms and shit. With Forge, they totally changed that. Now you can change what physics affect an object that you're placing as you edit it. So it can ignore the physics while you're editing it. It can, be affected. It could be, quite a bit of stuff. They improved that a lot.
Yeah.
So less technical skill, more design skill when creating these levels, which I'm absolutely brilliant at it. Gotta say, I don't know, it's just all around better. I like it. I can see a whole bunch of neat stuff being made with it.
I've seen some of the stuff that people have made with Halo 3's Forge. Some of that's pretty good too.
It'd be easier to do stuff like that now.
Yeah.
So people are going to be going out of their way to make more complicated stuff.
Yeah. Which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We like seeing that. So
I'm thinking, basically, if you're into the first-person shooters, for multiplayer, get it because it has great multiplayer. And also, if you like the story, get it because it has a great story. Generally,
even though you mentioned very few people actually enjoy the story in Halo.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's pretty good. Overall, I'd give it like a 9 out of 10.
You would think that gamers would be more interested in a sci-fi story versus something more semi-realistic like Call of Duty.
I don't know.
It's weird.
But whatever, Bungie and Microsoft are still going to make a shitload of money out of it.
Yes.